mind like unicorn. I still want you, make me need you, make you mine like unicorn. Got to have you, 'cause I just can't live without you.
Ha 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 ha! Here we are for the not long awaited Top 10 Offensive Lineman Show. It's never been done before on Hafeman Bros. It's going to be done for the first time with Raider Ric as the guest, a former offensive lineman himself. Me, also a former offensive lineman, at least for a little bit. And so we are the best judges of offensive line play in the NFL. Rick, thanks for being on the show.
No problem. I'm not sure how many top 10 offensive lineman shows there have been on any channel. So maybe you guys are just ahead of the curve. Andy Herman seems to pick up on some of the same topics you guys have. Maybe he's lurking. So, we'll see if he's got something similar in the pipeline next week. But, it's an important position. The unsung heroes of the offense, certainly. The crummy thing about being an offensive lineman is like Rodney Dangerfield, they don't get much respect. Like we were talking about before the show, really, the only time anyone hears or sees an offensive lineman and really takes note of it is if they got a big old John Madden pancake block. Boom! And the announcers go crazy and talk about them, or, they run really fast while they're not blocking someone, or they get beat. Right? So you got a handful of guys that might make some splash play and get a lot of attention. And that's like everyone keeps talking about them because that's like one of 5 offensive linemen that they know. And you'll know guys because they get beat regularly and have a really bad game or week or season. Or spin around like a turnstile with their arms flapping around out on the end, like some of our favorite former offensive tackles. But really, for the most part, the guys that are in there getting the job done, playing well, you're not going to notice them because, they're just doing their job, tying up a guy, and on a lot of plays, probably not moving more than a few steps from where they started.
I will say, I have to confess one thing. I think I understand why no one's done an offensive line top 10, because after watching several hours of offensive line play this week, it's not that fun most of the time. Because what I noticed is there are some here. I'm gonna preface my whole list with a couple of key things here. Number one is if you go and watch offensive line play, you will be underwhelmed because there are many plays where guys don't do anything or they miss blocks pretty quick. Now, I would think that would be pretty bad, but most of the time it's not an issue. Like with quick pass game, not an issue. A lot of the way some of these zone run schemes work, the line kind of moves together in one direction. They don't necessarily block somebody specific to start. And the other key to it is they're looking to get just a quick block at the right time. Like the back has to time it well and the play works out. So maybe I have to adjust my expectations for NFL offensive line play, because what I saw in looking at a whole bunch of different guys and a whole bunch of different teams and a whole bunch of tape is that a bunch of plays, guys don't hold blocks. They miss blocks. They do nothing. And the play still works. So that's also kind of busts the myth of all 11 that coaches like to talk about all the time. All 11 got to be doing their job on what? Not necessarily. But anyway, the point is there are some standouts and there are some guys that are very good at certain things. But as in always the case with guys in the NFL that are Pro Bowlers and stars or whatever, I guess offensive linemen are never stars for the most part, but are like perennial Pro Bowlers, guys that are listed at the AP All Pro and all this stuff. I got some head scratchers in there. I watched some of those guys. I was underwhelmed. So, and there's some guys that are sneaky good that are like fighting for starting spots on a team or two. So, okay. So I'm going to
So,
preface with all that.
yeah, just if I can
Yeah,
cut in quick, just
of course.
devil's advocate, if you will. So, sure, there's going to be times, certain plays where, as you said, depending on the blocking scheme, you got zone blocking schemes. You got look at the way many defenses are structured now, where they'll overload one side, fake a blitz. You got linemen dropping back in zone blitz schemes, or even defensive ends are essentially hybrid guys that are they linebackers? Are they defensive ends? You have essentially a linebacker or defensive end lining up over center. And a lot of time these guys aren't necessarily coming down hard, crashing into the line. They might be faking a blitz, stepping back, but they still need to be accounted for, right? So when the line is up there, they're picking their assignments, counting off their guys, looking at their area, their zone, whatever. And somebody's there, you snap the ball, and the guy drops back 5 yards on a pass or something. That might still be their guy. They could be doing their job. It's just their guys going backwards instead of coming at them. So, there are going to be situations, I think, where not blocking someone is still doing their job. In a lot of instances, they could probably be helping out on someone who's trying to block three guys, like your man Lukey, being the guy that blocks three guys, not helping out. But it's easy to sit back and look at it, in slow motion or on replay. But when you're down at ground level, it might not always be as obvious. But I think there are going to be cases where doing your job amounts to nothing more than just tying up that defensive guy on the opposite side of the line, right? You got something going off end on the right side. The left tackle doesn't have to be driving their guy into the dirt. He just needs to be tying him up so that he's not part of the play. So.
Absolutely. And me, I've talked about, and I've shown plays. I've shown, was showing Viking Mole plays with him when I was showing plays of Lucas Patrick and Quinn Miners last year at one point. And it's not about like power driving guys into the ground. Although what I did notice about my guy Lucas is that he puts a lot of his guys on the ground. And it's not right away. It's mostly because he blocks them so long that they just give up eventually. And he's one of the few guys in the whole league that blocks that long. So I think they're just not used to it. And then he buries them. But he does that a lot more than I expected. So I had in watching him, he's actually better than I thought. I'm going to say that right now. He's actually better than I thought he was, which is saying a lot because I already thought he was really good. There's a couple other things. I'm going to give you some names here. All right. I'm going to give you some names of offensive linemen. These are all Pro Bowl offensive linemen. Now, I'm going to also say this. I did not look at every offensive lineman in the NFL to make this list. I did not have time for that. I could not sanely do that. But I took a look at guys I was interested in, guys that were on other top lists, or considered to be the best linemen according to some other sources. And I also looked at the Pro Bowlers from 2021. All right. So Ryan Kelly, Patrick Ricard, Orlando Brown, Deion Dawkins. These are all names that did not make my list. Roger Saffold, Jonah Jackson, Ali Marpet, although he holds a lot, but he's pretty effective at holding and doesn't get called for it. So, I mean, I guess he's pretty effective at his job, but he's also blocked for Tom Brady, so you get a little leeway there from the officials. Laken Tomlinson, Alex Mack, Ryan Jensen also gets the Brady factor. DJ Humphries, Brian O'Neill, Dwayne Brown, all did not make my list. Another Pro Bowler that I was hoping. I was like, yes, I'm going to watch tape. I heard how good he was last year. I heard because this team had a young rookie tackle that got a lot of hype, and everybody's saying how good he was. And some sources I looked at said, well, he was great, but who was even better was this guy. And I was really hoping I was going to watch some stuff of Corey Linsley this year and say, you know what? Yep, he was really good. And you know what? It was kind of the same Corey Linsley. He misses a lot of blocks. He has a lot of plays where he doesn't really do much. He's trying to get out on the linebacker, misses him. He gets beat, physically because he's not that big of a guy. So Corey Linsley, awesome guy, was a great Packer. He's solid, but he's not top 10. Okay. Now, the other thing I'm going to say is what I just explained about Corey Linsley, that's almost everybody. So you can take any of my guys on my list, and especially my top guys that I'm also big fans of, and you can show me plays where they got beat. Because I know there were plays they got beat. But you know what? Every single offensive lineman I looked at had a bunch of plays they got beat and a bunch of plays they won. So you can pick and choose your plays and show me plays that got beat. I know they're out there. I've seen them. So don't give me that, okay? Because that's the other thing I learned in this exercise is that even the top guys get beat quite often. It doesn't always cost their team, right, on that play, but they themselves, in their own personal job, they get beat quite a bit. Okay, so there's that too. Okay, another guy. Let's look at some centers here. Another guy that had, Jason Kelsey. I'm sorry, not that impressed. I watched a handful of games, looking at a lot of his plays. He's okay. He's good, but didn't really sustain blocks well. Got beat physically by guys that were big. I don't know, but apparently he's one of the best guys. He's like AP, best guy. Okay, well, who are these AP writers? Did they ever play offensive line? I don't know. That's the other thing you got to judge is like, who's giving you these lists and what is their expertise in looking at this play? Now, granted, I'm going to tell you, Rick, I don't think many of these people that are making these lists and judge stuff sat there and watched a whole bunch of offensive line tape because I just don't think they spent time doing it.
Well, you've talked about it too during certainly this past season, and I think probably the season before as well, right? Where there'd be times Patrick would look like he's getting beat, but it wasn't his guy, or at least not the first guy he made contact with that was getting past him, right? It's trying to pick up the guy that just kind of made contact with the guard and then shot through the hole, or trying to get the second guy, and the second guy's who made the tackle, but that wasn't really his guy, it was an extra guy, right? So those are the plays that stick in people's heads. That's what they see. They see him getting beat or coming off his block with the guy that gets it. And unless you're sitting down just watching the offensive line play, in which case you're not going to see what else is going on, you're not going to see a lot of that stuff happening, right? And again, they get no respect. But if you've got a good offensive lineman, is he going to be asked to just try to man up one-on-one with someone like Nick Bosa instead of trying to get help, right? I mean, sure, he might get beat, you win some, you lose some, but is it a win if you can just one-on-one block someone like that most of the game without having to have the tight end chip or having the running back hanging out over there trying to check on passing plays? So, also just because the guy gets beat doesn't mean it's a net negative for you. If it means that you're freeing up someone else to double team someone else that needs more help. So, say it depends. It's complicated. It's a little different than receiver, running back, or defensive player. But each of those have their things too, right? If you're a receiver, you still need someone to throw you the ball. And defensively, they can run away from you. But, defenses can do that with an offense too. If you got a team where the left side of the line is really strong, then your defensive captain might decide he wants to flip over to the other side and try to get a sack against somebody who's not very good on that side instead. So.
I like all the underground shots you're throwing here. That's nice. Okay, so I don't mean to bore people before getting into the list, but there were just some universal things that came up, and that was it. If you go and you watch a bunch of offensive line tape, you're going to see even the best guys getting beat plays, winning plays, losing plays, having plays where they stand around and do nothing. But again, like those plays where they stand around and do nothing is most of the time is probably because they are responsible for this area of the line and nobody came in that area. You can't just leave a gaping hole if there's a possibility like for a late blitzer or something like that on a pass play, things like that. Okay, let me give a couple other guys that were interesting to look at. Lane Johnson, who's also on the Eagles, a tackle. Gets a lot of hype. He didn't make my list. I watched him get beat regularly by some guys that were not, top edge rushers. I watched him kind of get walked back and pushed back on a number of plays. So while he's got stuff to work on, he's got inconsistencies too. He's a highly hyped guy, but did not make my list. Another guy that did not make my list is Ben Jones from Tennessee. He's pretty good, but he didn't quite make my list. Only 2 centers made my list. And another guy that did not make my list was Joel Bitonio, Cleveland Browns guard. That guy is an awesome guy. He's a great character. Actually, maybe he did make my list. I might have to count up again. Oh, yeah, he might have made my list, just barely. All right. He did make my list, sorry. Bitonio made it, but Wyatt Teller did not. Wyatt Teller was a guy that got a lot. He was not highly thought after the first couple of years. Last year, he had kind of like a breakout year, according to a lot of people. I watched him regularly, and I was not seeing a lot of consistency there. And so I was kind of underwhelmed by him as well. So Wyatt Teller did not make my list. Okay, so those are a bunch of guys that might be recognizable names to people who like offensive line play and offensive linemen, but they did not make my list. I'm not going to give you this in a specific order. I'm giving you, these are 10 guys, the top 10 offensive linemen, according to me. These are the 10 guys, not in a specific order. Joel Bitonio on the list, a guard from the Cleveland Browns. He's physical. He's funny. I also like characters with my offensive line graders, but also guys that are smart. Guys that are smart, know what to do, in situations where you got a twist coming, you got a late blitzer, you got different things to deal with, aware what's happening on the line. A lot of these guys, that's one of the key things that they can do is adjust to some of the stuff that goes wrong, right? Because, Rick, the coaches draw up a play and they put, here's where the defensive guys are going to be. Bop, 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 bop. You block this guy, you block this guy, you block this guy. Okay, great. Well, and then you get on the field and you're like, wait, where's that guy I was going to block? He's not lined up where I thought he was going to be. Okay. We got to make some adjustments now, right? And you got to do a lot of that on the fly. You try to do some pre-snap, but then these guys move around. And so then you got to know your responsibilities, your principles, and then you have to make adjustments. That's one of the other reasons why the zone blocking scheme became more popular, because you didn't necessarily have designated guys to block. You had guys that, you would block if they got in front of you, or you flowed together, and then you did that. Oh, Ben wants a list already. Hey, I'm giving you some offensive line insight here, Ben. All right.
If I'm there, I would also.
You're getting a little choppy.
Got some connection issues here, so I don't know if I'm live or not here.
Okay.
Still there?
Hello? Yeah, I got you. You're better now. Okay.
Other adjustments, you got stunts after the snap too.
Yep, true.
Right? I mean, it's not just pre-snap looking at guys and being able to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's you think you got your guy, all of a sudden he's spinning past you, and you got some guy coming from nowhere that you can't see. So I'll see your black and beautiful and raise you.
What did you get?
Berry Imperial Stout.
Nice. Okay. Oh, out of Duluth. Okay, cool.
Big beer. Right, talking about the big guys tonight.
Now, the guys I like the least on the offensive line are tackles for the most part. So let's get the tackles out of the way right away. All right. A tackle that gets a lot of attention is Trent Williams. A lot of people saying he was the best offensive lineman all of last year. I think PFF had him rated the highest. Again, I've told you, I don't know how PFF grades their old linemen. I've debunked some of that already. He's good. But a highlight play they show in like some list I saw that had him ranked number 1 was him pushing Eric Stokes over in the end zone on a running play. Well, Eric Stokes weighs like 100 pounds or more or less than him. Like, that's not that impressive, dude. Fine, whatever. Trent Williams is good, but like everybody else, he has the same sort of things. He is one of the top 10 offensive linemen, though, in the league. Another tackle, the rookie for Ben's favorite quarterback, Rashawn Slater. I give him the nod. He's very good. It was a rookie. He's got stuff to grow, but hey, Bernard's back. How you doing, Bernard? We're not talking about Aaron Rodgers.
You haven't even mentioned number 12 yet tonight.
We're talking about offensive linemen tonight, Bernard. You came back for the best show ever if you want us to not talk about Aaron Rodgers. An offensive lineman that is not that great of a run blocker. He's good. He's fine as a run blocker, but he is the best pass blocking tackle, or as Mo would say, pass holding tackle in the NFL, and that's David Bakhtiari. Now, I know he didn't play last year. I know he hasn't played in forever, but David Bakhtiari is like, you know how long Bernard doesn't want us to hate on Rodgers, so we'll just talk about how long he holds the ball sometimes. Bakhtiari just almost never gets beat. Almost never gets beat, so I got to give him the nod. I'm anticipating that he's also going to do that whenever the heck he comes back. And he can chug-a-lug beers at the Bucs game like nobody's business.
You can run fast, you can chug beers, and it's impossible to get beat when you're on the sideline.
Oh, come on.
I will say, when he last played, he was arguably the best tackle in the league. However,
he last played against the Lions, 29 snaps, and Andy Herman said he looked awesome. So,
well, okay, 29 snaps. I can name you a lot of tackles that play 29 snaps. But I think it's incomplete grade on that one. I don't think you can give him a grade.
All right. If you're saying I can't give Bakhtiari because of the injury, then I'm going to have to put let me see here.
So the same.
I'm going to have to put Tristan Wirfs. Oh no, I'm sorry. I don't have to put Tristan Wirfs on there. Bakhtiari's off. That's fine. I have another tackle who I'm going to save because he's the surprise tackle of the list. All right. I will leave Bakhtiari off. I will see your Bakhtiari statement, and I will acknowledge it and honor it as the judge. Oh, Rick. Do you know who's a tackle who really impressed me? Ryan Ramczyk. He's a right tackle, not a left tackle. Left tackles are the ones that always get talked about. But Ramczyk is a damn good player, former Badger. He's a very good run blocker, and he's a very good pass blocker, too.
I think he'd be on my list of tackles. I mean, the Saints actually have a pretty decent pair of tackles. So Armstrong, I forget the other guy's name.
You know, there was that run. I mean, the Badgers have had a lot of offensive linemen come into the NFL, right, in the last 20 years. But they had some big misses in there. You know, there were some guys that really excelled, and there were some guys that kind of flamed out pretty quick. But Ramczyk was, I mean, he was in there. I think he started as a rookie and really just took hold of that spot, and he has become one of the best offensive tackles in the NFL, and he's on the top 10 list. He's really impressive, and he's a physical dude, blocks hard as a run blocker, but he's nimble enough as a pass blocker. So
he's got a little edge to him, right? I mean, it's not the pushover, softy, but he's not overly aggressive where he's going to get beat that way or pick up dumb penalties because he's smacking dudes or something. But it plays with enough edge that he takes it to the defender. So, yeah, he would be one guy that's on my list of a couple of 2 or 3 tackles.
Okay. I'm going to save the last tackle for after we get through some of these guards. Okay, we talked about Joel Bitonio, guard from Cleveland Browns. He makes the list. Zach Martin from the Cowboys, arguably by a lot of people, the best guard, bar none, in the NFL. I watched a lot of him. He's very good. He still has his ups and downs. He still misses plays like a lot of guys. But he's definitely a top 10 offensive lineman based on all the stuff I watched. He's physical. He's fat. He's a little bit lighter, a little bit. He has like a little thinner waist than a lot of guards do. A lot of guards got pretty good sizable guts on him. But I think that helps with his speed. He gets to the second level well. He's still physical and strong enough to handle the big guys inside too. So I was very impressed by him. The Cowboys continue to find, they draft high a lot on the offensive line, but they seem to hit a lot on their offensive linemen. I don't know how much you've noticed him, but he's pretty damn good. Quentin Nelson, I'll give him the nod. I know he got hurt last year, but he's one of those guys he's a character. He's got incredible power. He shows versatility. He probably has more plays where he gets beat or misses than some of the other guys. He's maybe not quite as consistent as some of the other guys on this list, but he's so good at times and so dominant at times that you also have to recognize that skill and power and give him the nod on that one. What is Ben saying? What does he want? Oh, okay. Ben and Bernard are having a little conversation here in the chat. Bernard says Rodgers best quarterback in football, and Ben says this. He was number 14. Well, Bernard, it's good to see you again and catch you again. I hope you're doing well. We're talking O-line, though. Rick and I are doing O-line. Ben's in the comments here tonight. Okay, so we got Zach Martin. We got Joel Bitonio. We got Quentin Nelson. Those are some guards. We got one guard left. There are 2 centers on this list. 2 centers in the top 10 offensive linemen. One of them is a guy that Ben and I wish the Packers would have drafted, and that's Creed Humphreys. Creed Humphreys is pretty damn impressive. Like, he's got power. He holds up to like big interior linemen, nose guards and stuff coming after him. But he's quick. He's got quick feet. He's got a really big gut, but he's got these like quick, nimble feet. So, I don't know. It kind of reminds me of Dean Blonick running around. I don't know. What do you think? You ever watch him? He gets the high knees going and kind of like the way Dean used to teach us to keep the feet wide, keep the base wide, pump those legs, right? Pump those pistons. I don't know. Did you watch one?
Does he look good in Zubaz?
I don't know. He can hide behind a tree as long as he turns the skinny way.
Turn sideways.
Yeah. I remember. Do you remember when Dean was like, so here's a good offensive line story real quick. So our offensive line coach was like trying to say how, I don't know. He was, do you remember how this was set up? I know
it was the squaring up, right? You want to take them on square.
Okay.
Because when you got your pads on, you're squared up, you're big. But there was one guy on the team who he wasn't a small feller. He's like, Donnie, he can turn, you turn him sideways, he can hide behind a tree or behind a flagpole, whatever it was. You turn him sideways, he can hide behind a flagpole. You turn him head on, square, he gets those pads squared up, and he's as wide as a truck, or whatever, something to that effect, whatever it was. But yeah, it's you got to stay square, otherwise you can hide behind a tree. So.
Now maybe I just added this in my memory of that whole thing, but I think he actually stood behind a tree, and you could see like his gut sticking out beyond the tree trunk. Yeah, we couldn't see his head and his shoulder, but we could see like the belly part. Anyway,
what a question where the tree was on our practice field, Jason.
Did we have to go to the side to find one? I don't remember. Anyway,
maybe
that was.
We'll go with it. Yeah, there was a tree.
That was all in my mind. Okay, so Creed Humphrey, pretty impressive, and he was just a rookie last year. Now, if the Packers had drafted him, I would have been happy. Like I said, another guy that I wish. There's only 2 guys left, and you know who they are. Another guy that I wish the Packers would have drafted. And if they had drafted Creed Humphreys and Quinn Miners, both, do you know how good this offensive line would be? Do you know how little concern we'd have about this Packers offensive line for the upcoming season? Even with the injuries to the awesome Bakhtiari and the amazing Swiss Army knife, Elton Jenkins. Oh, my gosh.
But they'd all be competing for one spot.
No.
You know that.
Come on. Like, seriously. Humphreys could play center. Miners could play guard. And my other guy on the list, he's better at center, but he could play guard too. I don't care. I would take those 3 guys in the middle of in the middle of my line any day of the week.
All right, so you're done with your centers now, or you still got another center coming through here?
I got one more center.
Okay.
And you know who it is. You know who it is. It's LP, Rodney. Dude. Lucas Patrick is, I am telling you, I watched, and people are going to say this is my bias. No, I watched so many plays of the guy from last year, and he's one of the best. Aaron Rodgers is yes, sometimes plays like a dum-dum, but he said at one point, Lucas Patrick, he said, and this was years ago, he said Lucas Patrick could be an elite center, and Aaron Rodgers was right. Lucas Patrick, given the opportunity to actually play center, could be a freaking elite center in the NFL, and the Bears knew it. The Packers didn't know it. And the Packers went and drafted Josh Myers in the 2nd round when they had a guy that could have been their elite center right on their team. And I'm telling you, Fine. I know he gets beat sometimes, but I already prefaced and told you all these guys, Trent Williams, Ramczyk, Slater, Quentin Nelson, Zach Martin, Batonio, Creed Humphrey, all of them, they all get beat. They all get beat. So you could show me plays of Patrick getting beat, but I can show you just as many plays of him making game-winning, smart, heady plays and a bunch of other plays where he buries dudes. And the one thing I thought about him was that he wasn't powerful enough. You know, because he's not as powerful or strong as some of these other guys. But I saw plays where he held up to big dudes. He really did.
So I think that
he's better than I thought.
as much as I like to give you crap about the Lucas Patrick fan club, you know, I will give you that. You know, he plays hard. He's scrappy. He's chippy. You know, he's going after somebody. He's not one of those guys that's going to stand around and look around, right? So I will give you that. Is he a little undersized? Yeah. But does he play hard? Does he make up for it? Most cases, yeah. Did he get kind of shafted in Green Bay for the last 3 years? Yeah. So.
What's up, Ben?
You know, but in all your research, did you look at Rodney Hudson at all? Former Raiders center. I can't say I watched him.
I did not. I'm sorry. Like I said, I couldn't look at everybody. I looked at the guys that were Pro Bowlers in 2021 and guys that were on some other sources' lists, and I watched a whole bunch of plays of them, and I saw all the same things: inconsistencies, some good, some bad, some better, some not as good, and that's what I base this on.
All right, Hudson was one of the bright spots on the Raiders line.
Okay,
then he left with everybody else. He went to Arizona, and I can't say I really saw much of him last year, so I don't know if it was dropping off or you know, just curious.
Ben's in the Packer layer here. The all-time.
I was going to say, it looks like he's in the Lambeau Atrium or something here.
Oh, look at this stuff, Ben. Where are you? I don't know if we can hear Ben, but it might be the cell connection. But you can see some of the images. Look at that. Mark Chimura still lives on that wall. That's so crazy. But there's Gilbert. Trying to tackle Barry Sanders. Don't show that dirty Shimura. We have things for the Packers' latest Super Bowl. It's been a while. Pack was on top once upon a time. There's your guy, Bernard. See, we don't hate. We should give him cred. 12 years ago, he was awesome. Yeah, Claymaker was vital to that team, too.
That was back when Rodgers was the man.
Yeah, he was good then. He threw more interceptions, though, back then, Ben. Oh, classic Packers. Bart, the real Bart. Yep. Reginald.
There you go. That's Mom's shrine up here.
Yep. Look at the wall.
The Packer stuff.
And the wall color. Fantastic.
Yeah. Hang out with Mom and Dad right now. Everybody in the chat's talking about Rodgers. They're not listening to any offensive line talk at all.
Disappointing, but that's okay. We press on. We press on.
You keep doing has to do it. Because nobody else will.
You. And nobody will watch that much offensive line tape as I did. And I'm telling you, I found out a couple things. The other things I told you, the other thing I found out is that Lucas Patrick is the best offensive lineman in the NFL at sustaining blocks, bar none. Whoa. Nobody else sticks with blocks, stays with blocks more than he does. And the most impressive offensive lineman from a physical standpoint is Quinn Miners. Quinn is one of the top. Dude, I'm telling you, the guy is amazing. He is freaking amazing. And if the Packers had drafted him, oh my God. Oh my God. And there's one other guy, one other surprise guy. But before we get to our final surprise guy, who really impressed me, I did not anticipate having this guy be one of the top 10 offensive linemen coming into this list. We got to show some plays. I got a whole bunch of stuff queued up. I'm going to try to get it all lined up for you. Rick, what do you think now that I've announced that Quinn Miners is officially one of the top 10? And also, well, you talked about LP. What are your thoughts on Quinn Miners so far?
You know, he's looked pretty solid. I know there was a lot of hype on this show. There was a lot of hype outside of this show. So I think he's exceeded many people's expectations. And in the clips you've shown us throughout the past season, it looks like he's doing pretty well. Fortunately, he plays for, the enemy. So I'm hoping he doesn't do too good of a job protecting Russell so that the Broncos don't ride too far into the playoffs. But,
All right.
On with your video.
Let me see if I can. I'm going to show you a quick thing about Lucas here. Watch Lucas on this play. He's right in the middle. Okay. Just want you to watch the play. I might stop it a couple times here. Now, look how this play starts out. You got 1, 2, 3 guys. Only 3 guys rushing here right now, right? Vikings are dropping guys back. They got coverage. You got Lucas. You got Runyon. You got Yash in the game. Dennis Kelly. And this is late in the season against the Vikings. And I think that's probably Royce in there. I can't remember. All right. So these guard tackle on a double. Guard tackle kind of on a double. Lucas man up against this guy. Goes right to his face. Look at him. Right to his face right away. He's a pretty big dude. I don't know what this guy's name is. Random white guy Viking rushing on the inside. And then he tries to bring power to him. And this is where I thought Lucas might get pushed around. But you know what? He doesn't. He holds the pocket pretty damn well right there. Royce comes over late because he never knows what to do. He started off over here. He basically did nothing on the play. But Lucas held up pretty well. Pretty well on that play. All right? Kind of like it. I want to show you a couple other quick things as well. And I think I got to switch to my, let's see. Do you see the other play? I think you do see the other play. Oh, sweet. Okay. So what I'm going to do is show you a couple other plays here real quick with the Vikings and Packers. And I want you to take a look at the next play on this one. And I'm going to show you here in a second because I got to switch some stuff around and start that share. So anyway, that's like a power thing. I thought a big guy, in the past, sometimes Lucas has struggled with big guys. Okay. But not as much anymore. Okay. Let's take a look at this one here real quick. I cannot remember what this play is going to be. So when I add it, we'll find out. I got a bunch of plays queued up here. So take a look. I'll make this nice and big for you. This is the offensive line show. We're watching an offensive line. All right. Same game. Lucas at center. Take a look at him here on this play. All right. We start out. He engages on a double team to start. Okay. This is a handoff to A.J. Dillon. It's a running play. Now he gets upfield. He turns and shields, right? Because he's trying to create a lane in the middle. And he's got another big guy to work off of. Royce falls off again. I don't know. He's kind of going after this guy. But
Alan Lazard missed his block.
Lucas freaking buries him. Lucas, the guy is going to the ground. Oh, no, not on this one. He doesn't bury him. But he pushed him way the hell over there. Pretty darn good. You want to know one guy who buried a guy, though, on this play? He is the surprise of this list. He's the surprise of this list. I'm going to run this play one more time here. So I want you to see it. I want you to see the surprise sneak attack guy the Packers have in their roster who's one of the top 10 offensive linemen, and he might not even start. And he's right here, the left tackle in this game. Watch him come up, get the little guy. Stay on him. Stay on him. Stay on him. Actually, that's Kendricks. And finish his block. That is Yash Nijman, one of the top 10 offensive linemen in the NFL. And I'll give you my breakdown on Yash in just a minute. Now you have to watch this running play. This is Aaron Jones running to the outside. Watch this.
Do we have any highlights against someone other than the Vikings?
Just hold on. Watch Lucas on this play. Watch Lucas on this play first. This is so good right here. Lucas is at center. Watch where he is. This guy's on his outside shoulder, okay? The play is going to go this way. Watch what he does and watch what he has to do. It's not an overpowering block, but watch. He's got to hold that guy off and try to hope Royce can help get him. Then he's even reaching further outside to the D tackle that was over the guard. Over the guard. He's got to get that block. He turns. He may holds a little bit, but he actually beats the guy to the outside and shields him off. And then guess what? Guess who's there to pick his guy up? Guess who's there to be there at the end of the play? Yeah, it's freaking Lucas, dude. Lucas is the man. And anybody that's been watching this show should know it. 100%. There's more Lucas plays too, but I don't want to bore you with all that. I got to give you my surprise guy, and I'm going to tell you my notes.
Also,
on
Aaron
Yash.
Jones is really good.
Well, of course, Aaron Jones is really good.
Yash wasn't your surprise guy?
Yes, Yash is my surprise guy. I'm giving you Yash. This is what I noticed by watching a bunch of. See, I was watching a bunch of Packers plays to look at Lucas, and I was like, okay, Yash is in this game. Yash is in this game. Let me see what's going on. Yash was incredible in so many games. Like, I didn't even realize how good he was. And you know what else? Go back and watch even the extended highlights against the 49ers. He's going against Nick Bosa the whole freaking game. Nick Bosa, what, supposed to be this superstar, rock star, one of the best edge players in the whole NFL? You know what Nick Bosa got against Yash? He didn't get nothing.
Yet Steno decided not to start him in the playoff game.
Exactly.
Genius. Not. And that's our offense coordinator now.
And here's what I noticed again about Yash. Now, sometimes Yash got beat a little bit. Sometimes with a little bit of quickness, sometimes with a little bit of power. He got beat by power. But do you know what he did? He was top-notch at recovering. So a guy would beat him to the outside, he would still recover and extend and follow through on the block and not let Nick Bosa get to Aaron Rodgers. And other guys too. Remember, he played some of the best edge rushers in the NFL when he was filling in at left tackle. He has great feet, incredible recovery, like I said, and he sustains his blocks better than most of the NFL offensive linemen that I watch tape on. Yash sustains his blocks better than most of the guys, these top guys in the league that everybody talks about that I watched. And the other thing he does really well, especially when guys are trying to beat him speed rush to the outside, is arm extension. He has really good arm extension. You see a lot of guys not get their arms extended. Guys get into their body. He showed great arm extension. So tell me what you want in an offensive lineman. He's big. He's got great feet. He's got great recovery skills. He's aware. He sustains his blocks. And he has great arm extension. Top 10 offensive lineman in the NFL, Yash Nijman. Telling you, he's on the list. Whether
You're
you believe
telling
it or
me
not.
that out of the top 10 offensive linemen in the entire NFL,
Yep.
that Lukey Patrick, Yash, and Quinn Miners are all in there?
Yep. And those are and two
You're
of those
crazy.
guys are fighting for offensive spots. And Lucas finally got an offensive spot. Had to go to another team, or a starting spot, but had to go to another team to do it.
And another one hasn't played in over a year, but he's there too.
Well, I was
Like
giving
it's like
Bakhtiari the
they put
nod
that
just because he
stats.
holds. Just because Bakhtiari holds so well, and Mo loves how he holds. You want my notes on Lucas? Fine, I'll give them to you. Stays engaged on blocks better than almost anyone. Lacks a little strength and power, but effort. Recovers well. Lucas recovers well. Covers up, cleans up the mess. When extra guys are coming, teammates missing blocks, he
Always
covers
looking for work.
He covers up the mess all the time. And I went and watched a bunch of plays where Rodgers got pressure on him. Do you know who's still blocking his guy when the play broke down? Freaking Lucas Patrick. He was still blocking his guy. It wasn't him that allowed the pressure. Same thing on running plays. Guys engage for a second, then, they let the guy go. And then your running back maybe gets caught up or tripped up or slowed down, and then they get tackled. But if everybody's staying their guy like Patrick does, those running backs will be taking it to the house or getting 20-yard gains instead of 4-yard gains. I'm just telling you. Those are observations from watching a bunch of plays that he did. And as far as Quinn Miners, who he also would be debatable for most people, strong, physical, effort. He sometimes pushes too hard and too much and disengages with his guy. So he's got to actually work on just like engaging the block or holding a little better, because sometimes he's like, "Oh, I'm just going to shove this dude." And then you shove the guy off, and then he kind of lands right into your running back or ends up making the tackle because you didn't stay engaged with him. So Quinn's got to learn that. He's got to learn that. And he's got to get better in his pass protection. But you cannot deny that he's got some incredible, incredible stuff he does in the football field. So I love Miners. You know, many reasons why, but he's pretty awesome. All right. I'm going to show you one more Lucas play to celebrate, and then I got to show you a Quinn Miners play. I'm getting rid of the Vikings. We're going to go with the Cardinals, Eric. Cardinals had a pretty good D line, right? Some pretty stout guys, didn't they, Rick? All right, Rick's getting all broken up. He doesn't believe me anymore. We'll see, Rick. We'll get it figured out here for you. I'll show you one. All right, this is a good one. Come on back, Rick. I want you to see it and believe it. Here he comes back. All right, so this is that famous Cardinals game that Rasul Douglas saved in the end. But you know who else was awesome? Was this guy right here, Lucas Patrick, number 62. Elton Jenkins is left tackle in this particular game. At this point, I think he got hurt in this game. Now this is I believe it's a running play. Jenkins did pretty good. Okay. He was honorable mention if he comes back. But watch Lucas on this play right here. Watch him get up on the guy, okay? This is one thing you wonder. Is he fast enough to do second level to get to those linebackers? Well, he got right through there. He's on the linebacker. A lot of guys don't sustain that block. A lot of guys get shoved off that block quick. Now there's a little traffic here, and Dylan's got to cut it back and try to find his way. Guess who's still blocking? Guess who's still blocking? Guess who's still blocking? Guess who's still blocking? Guess who's still freaking blocking as AJ Dillon kind of fumbles it but gets the ball back?
Dominic Daphne, pretty good there too.
Yeah, Daphne did great, and a lot of guys did great.
Randall
I think Billy was blocking on that one too.
Well, don't get crazy, Rick. He was in the way. But
sometimes that's good enough to do your job.
And late in that game, Lucas Patrick also had one of the best plays where he actually blocked 3 guys on one play, but just by kind of going like this and like navigating through to body like a couple guys at the same time, because Runyon and Royce were letting guys sneak past him, and Lucas already had his guy, and he just kind of like shifted over and he helped Aaron Jones get a first down on a late drive that helped the Packers get the lead. So that also happened in that game, but I'm not going to show you that. One thing, we'll save one last play for Lucas here in a minute, but we got to show you a couple things about the other favorite guy here on the list, and that's Quinn Miners. I got to show you this one before we go because it's all aligned tonight about the big guys. I want you to look at this here real quick. Oh no, we'll do that one last. This is one of the reasons you got to love Quinn Miners. This does not have to do with this play. This is Quinn Miners' Instagram account right here, okay? So we're showing that because we love Quinn on the show. All right, so here he is. Now, I don't know if you saw this at all. Oh, okay, I guess I got to continue as myself. Instagram, let's go. I want to get attached to QM67 Humid or whatever it says. There he is, looking up.
I think you're seeing a lot of spinning wheels of death here, man.
Okay, hang tight. We got him now. We got him up. Okay, watch this here. This is one of the reasons you got to like Quinn Miners. You can't deny it. I think we got sound with it. Let me just check. Maybe I didn't get the sound. Oh, dang. I'm going to have to try that one again. That's too good one. All right, we'll show the best play. We'll show the best play. Instead, we'll show the best play of any offensive lineman all last season. Sorry, they had like 10 windows open here, and I got to switch each time, so hang tight. All right, let's show you the best play of any offensive lineman of all of last season. And you know who it was. It was freaking Quinn Miners. All right? The best play by far. No one has played better than this in all of last season for anybody. Watch him. Here he is. One more time. Here he comes. Look at him. Oh, blow that guy out of there. Hey, this guy gets in my way. This guy's in my way. All these guys. It just doesn't matter how many of them. And pulls it off right at the end. That's Quinn, dude.
Where was
Nobody
the
has-
ball on that play?
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
The receivers didn't even know. I think they thought Quinn had the ball because they were trying to block for him too at the end. I'm like, wait, the ball's like 10 yards behind him, and he's still blocking 10 yards ahead. And then the receiver turned around and helped him.
Lucas had some incredible sustained blocks like the one he done Anthony Barr, but he's really holding them the whole time. But anyway, he had those plays last year, but they weren't quite as impressive as that because Quinn was just bulldozing, and it was pretty awesome. All right, here's one other reason you got to love Quinn Miners. And I'm going to share this with you now because it's just pretty darn good. This is from his Instagram account. And I don't know how I discovered this. I did a search on him and I was researching some stuff. And this is what he did at like one of the closing days or late days, Denver Broncos practice or whatever. He's up in front of the whole team here and everybody. And this is what he does.
Do you know what that's from?
Was that the no, I don't. Is that tell me?
That's from Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Napoleon Dynamite.
All right, right on. So do you know, like if you had an offensive lineman guy who gets up for the whole team?
Yeah, he should have been a Packer.
Oh my God.
He would have been a cult hero. I mean, it wouldn't even be. He's from Wisconsin. Played it with Whitewater. Like, it was dumb. It was a no-brainer. Packers should have drafted him. It was stupid not to. I mean, it's just dumb. Like it's slapping you in the face to draft a guy, and Goody took Royce Newman.
They should make tree flipping part of the RAS.
Yeah,
there you go. Now, well, he had a high RAS. He had a really high score.
Wow.
It's just that he was Division III, so people are like, "Oh, I don't know. Wait, he just kicked all these guys' asses at the Senior Bowl, but I don't know." And whatever. But anyway, the point is, he's got all of that. Plus, he is he's going to be. I said it. He's going to be like a 10-time Pro Bowler. Once he gets going, once he gets the chance to consistently play, he's going to have this extended career and going to be an awesome interior offensive lineman for 10 years. No doubt. I don't care what anybody says. It's going to
Problem is, though, now he's blocking for a guy who takes a lot of sacks.
That's one of the
And
things
he
they're working
blames it on the
yeah.
offensive line.
Yeah, I know.
Even though it's not always the offensive line's fault. So I don't know. All I know is I've heard some things. Some people are saying that the Raiders are going to win the AFC West.
That's true. I've heard
Derek
it too.
Carr
I think people
should have
say
a
it every year.
6 rating as leadership on the Ben Hafeman's quarterback ranking system, which only goes to 5, but apparently you should have a 6. I think the Raiders are something.
I hope they can play consistently. I hope they've pieced together a halfway decent offensive line. So that could be their Achilles heel. But I think they should make a good showing this year.
I've heard a lot too, Rick. I've heard a lot too about your Raiders. A lot of hype on them here, and I think it's I think it could happen. Like, what? Look, Chargers are talented, but their coach is dumb, and he goes for it a lot when he shouldn't. And they also have a lot of receivers who drop good balls. I don't know. I was watching Corey Linsley and the offensive line. I noticed a whole bunch of throws by Herbert where dudes drop touchdowns. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with these receivers? They stink. And then
Justin Herbert's the best.
And you got Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, who, okay, maybe Mahomes takes some chances. And now they got the ultimate weapon, MVS, so that might help them out. MVS
has got 8 touchdowns in his career. They're all 40-plus yard touchdowns.
He's a great Packer. MVS did his job, exactly what they asked him to do. Run deep and catch every other one. But he was awesome for opening up the defense for everybody. And then, I don't know. The Raiders could totally do it, Rick. They totally could. I think Rick's frozen again, though. Dang connection problems.
Or he fell asleep.
Maybe he did fall asleep.
Oh, man.
I don't know.
The problem
happened,
is,
Rick.
he's in Minnesota. I told you whenever. All the times in Rochester where my stupid thing gets all whacked out.
It's something about Minnesota.
No, I don't think
If you have a Packers show and Minnesota doesn't like you, I guess. Rick, I don't know what happened, man. We'll bring you back. I'm not going to leave you on there looking like that. Oh, wait. I come back. Here you go. Now you're back. Oh, no. Now he left. Now he's back. All right. I want him to see this last play before we go. But that is true. I heard stuff about the Raiders, too, and I think, I don't know. Maybe Devontae will be a good fit for them. We'll see. Maybe he'll adjust, Ben, to not being just about his stats and his legacy and be about, winning.
I don't know.
He could.
We know he's not going to block for anybody, though. That's for sure. But,
oh, man.
Hey, what happened? Hey.
Look, I'm telling you, when I did this exercise, I just like Chris Sims learned stuff and you learned stuff about your exercise. You did not think certain things would be the way they were, but I saw it all. I can't deny it. Yash, LP, and Miners are all in the top 10.
Quick aside before I get cut off again, or we go. Since we're talking about big, charismatic, tubby dudes in the trenches, I think we need to have a toast to the Goose. That's right, Tony Siragusa, the biggest, dumpiest, I don't know, sack of flour looking guy in the NFL. Passed away this week. He was an inspiration to people like me who are quite unathletic, knowing that you have the potential of reaching higher, even though you look like a truck driver who eats KFC every day. So, to the Goose. And even though he hurt Rich Gannon, I can overlook that this week. One time.
I agree. He was only 55 too. That's crazy.
Yeah, but he was like 355 pounds.
I know. It's just sad, but yeah, you're right. I mean, he was a pretty damn good sideline reporter guy. He was interesting and he gave some good insight. I liked him on the broadcast. So that was interesting. But
yeah.
Okay, well, I apologize. I know Rick doesn't, Rick wants me to be more professional. I apologize for being somewhat disjointed tonight. If you didn't know, I had a lot going on this week. And so just to let you know, I put in I'm changing the course of my professional life here. I made it official today. And new things ahead. And I'm excited about. More on that to come. The other part is I was trying to figure out when the hell Ben and I are going to go to Packers training camp. And so we'll talk about that later. But we are going to because we have to update our pictures. Well, one of my pictures has all these receivers that are no longer on the team. So if they would have kept MVS, we wouldn't have had to go to training camp. We could have kept the same picture, but they didn't.
Yeah, well, Mercedes is wearing the wrong number in that one.
Yeah. And, Kumaro's not there anymore. I know it pains Zekis every time he sees it, hurts his feelings. And I think Randall Cobb maybe was in that picture, and now he's back. So that works again, but it's been a while anyway. Not the point. All right, Rick, one last thing. This was I had to go back in the archives on this. To show you one cool thing. Now, this is a young Lucas Patrick. This is Lucas Patrick. And this was from a source, Andy Herman on Twitter, who said, man, Lucas Patrick had a great game. And I found this was from like his first or second season with the Packers when he got some playing time. Might have been the preseason, I think. But it was a preseason game against somebody, I believe, or maybe it was a game against the Lions. I can't recall. All of those things. But either way, here he is at right guard. Looks a little less fit than he does now, actually. To be honest, looks a little tubbier there. But he toned it up. He's also got a club on his hand, on the right hand there. So keep in mind he can't hold because he's only got one hand. He try to hold, but he can't hold that well. And I want you to watch this play. Andy Herman, let's go back to the Twitter post here. Andy Herman says, man, did Lucas Patrick have a really nice game. Thank you, Andy Herman. I like it when you used to say nice things about Lucas Patrick and value him. I don't think I've ever seen a guard block both edge rushers on the same play. That's the definition of finding work. Let's give Andy Herman a like for that 5 years later. All right, here you go. Watch this play. It's so good. Here's my man Lucas right here. Check him out. Watch what he does. He doesn't have anybody come, so he's got to go find some work. I'll go push that guy around. All right, he's not doing anything. I'll go push this guy over here too. Why not? Why not? That's 17. I think that's the Brett Hundley in this game. David Bakhtiari's holding this guy good. But even Bakhtiari lets him go at the end. But Lucas is there to save him. Lucas is there to save him in the end. What do you think of all that business?
It looked kind of like Quinn Miners. It looked a little sloppy and not very good technique.
Yeah, but he didn't have anybody to block
he got
on
on
play.
a guy and smacked him, and then he went and got another guy and smacked him.
But no responsibility on that play.
He was young and raw. It was mosh pit blocking.
And he knew to help out. He knew to help out Justin McCray first because he would lose early, and then he knew Bakhtiari would hold his guy for a good long time. But he also knew he had his limits, so he had to get over there and help him out too. Anyway, I don't know how much more I got to show you guys to get everyone to realize it. But I also saw one final note about offensive linemen before we decide to go or talk about anything else, is that there was a source that ranked the team offensive lines for all 32 teams, ranked a 1 to 32. And they ranked the Bears offensive line as the 32nd ranked offensive line in the NFL. The worst. The worst. That's what this site says for the upcoming season, the Bears. I tend to disagree. I think LP's there leading the charge. He's going to whip a bunch of those dudes into shape. And I think the Bears are going to be pretty decent on the O-line, to be honest with you. So I'd give them in the teens is where I'd give the Bears. But that's what they think. They also don't have the Packers offensive line very high on that list. They had them at like 20, 21, something like that. So not great, but you know, they also have the question marks with Jenkins and Bakhtiari and all this sort of stuff. Are they going to play ever? And who knows? But anyway, that's interesting stuff about O-line. All right. So I said enough about all those things. Ben, was there any Packer news today that I didn't pay attention to?
I have no idea.
Okay. Did they sign anybody or do anything?
I was driving for 7 hours.
7 hours?
We got a train that decided to hold everybody up.
Oh.
And then there's an accident on freaking whatever the heck that stupid highway is by Appleton. And that took forever. So even though we left Rochester at like 1:30-ish, we didn't get to Algoma until 8:30. It sucked. And that was after me working all night. I got a 1 hour sleep, and then drove 7 hours to get all the way here.
Thanks.
All right. Quick Packer news. We have Robert Tonyan still on track for the season opener, according to Packers Wire.
That's
Also,
not good news for your buddy Big Nose.
yeah, he'll be fine. He's going to beat out Big Dog, and he'll be all right. Tyler Davis, secret weapon. And then DK Metcalf lists Jair Alexander among the toughest cornerbacks to play against. So I guess he was worth all that money the Packers paid him. Okay, great. Whatever. That's all I got for you. That's all I got for Packer news today. All right. Oh, one last thing. Did anyone catch Quay Walker's interview before they broke? This was like, actually, we could have talked about last week, but we were too busy. He said he lost his confidence. He openly said it. I don't know if anybody got worried about that or was turned off by that, but I actually kind of thought it was good. Like, he was being honest. He's like, yeah, I got in here. I felt like kind of overwhelmed and lost my confidence a little bit, but I kind of was coming back, and, Campbell was helping him out and other stuff like that. So anyway, I kind of like some of these young players where they're very open and honest about how they're doing, what they're doing, how they're feeling. So don't be alarmed. Quay Walker will be fine. I don't know if he's worth the 22nd pick, but he'll be fine. Training camp practice schedule was announced. If you didn't know that, you can find out at the Packers website. They got it all there. They got open practices in late July, first week of August, second week of August, and then the joint practices with the Saints the third week of August. They got like 3 practices in there. So opportunities, if you're a Packers fan, you want to head over there, you can do it. Ben and I will be going at some point. I'm sorry about the connection, Rick. It's a Minnesota thing or something. Once in a while it happens, but you're doing fine. I will check out your Raiders offensive lineman for next year when I do a better list and more thorough list. You don't think so? All right. Well, I'll try. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see how things shake out this year. But I'm telling you right now, if the Packers don't play Yosh Nijman, they're morons, number 1. And number 2, if the Broncos replace Quinn Miners, they're also dumb. And number 3, LP's the man. Like, I don't know what I got to tell you. He just is.
The problem with the Broncos is they might have Billy Turner lined up next to Quinn Miners, and that just sucks away all the goodness of Quinn and puts in all the crap of Billy Turner, which means it's going to make Miners look worse.
One quick thing that people noted last year, so Miners got to play because of injuries and stuff. One thing that people who follow the Broncos and report on the Broncos noted was that the whole offensive line played better when Miners was in the games than they were playing before he got to play. So he brought edge, energy, those big plays where they'd pull him and he'd blow people up and energize the team, and the whole line played better. So don't underestimate that as well. And hopefully Nathaniel Hackett doesn't overlook it. But I'm worried that because he's not as polished of a pass blocker, Russ will be like, oh, I got to have guys that are going to hold up for me or whatever and all that dumb stuff. Anyway, I still wish the Packers had traded Rodgers and all they asked for in return was Quinn Miners and a couple of picks. It would have been a great trade. A great trade for the Packers. Just think about it, Ben. Miners on a pull play leading around the edge, Dillon or Jones behind him. It's a lot of big running plays if you do that. Is that fun football to watch, Rick, or what? Big guy, pull around the end.
I think so. Smash mouth.
Damn.
Boom.
What could have been? Anyway, all right. We'll see how the rest of the week goes. Ben's going to have his top 10 something next week because it's off-season time. Now you all know about who are the best linemen in the league. Hopefully you feel more educated, and if you want to go watch a bunch of offensive line tape, go for it. It's not that fun. Rick,
Hey,
thanks for your time and your bad connection, but you're still in there once in a while. What's up?
Hey, quick question. How many guys in your top 10 list, or even among the guys that should be considered top offensive linemen, play like 6 different positions? a bunch of position during the season versus staying under one
Damn
most
it.
natural.
I don't know why the connection's so bad. I'm sorry, Rick. We lost you half the way there with your question. I apologize.
And now I know. Remember, that used to happen to me all the time.
Yep. Minnesota gets you every
Minnesota
time.
sucks.
You know what?
Yeah.
Minnesota's right on some stuff, though. Wisconsin kind of sucks on some stuff, and I'm kind of mad about it. But that's a whole nother topic. We talk Packers here. There's a whole bunch of crazy stuff going on in the world. We assume if you watch our crazy show that you don't want to know about that stuff while you're watching. So we will leave those things, let them lie where they are. But it was nice to have a Badger on the list. Ryan Ramczyk, really good. And, of course, the other highlights are another kid from Wisconsin. So you know what? If you just draft dudes from Wisconsin over and over again, you probably turn out okay for offensive linemen. Just a heads up. If they grew up in Wisconsin, they're probably going to be a decent offensive lineman. Rick, I'm bringing you back one more time. See if you come in or not. I don't know. To try to get your question on because, I don't know. It's been kind of that kind of show. Some technical problems, some problems for me trying to get my list together. No, Rick's frozen again. I don't know what happened.
Next week, we're going to do Ben's top 10 winger songs. Get ready.
What the hell?
Got nothing
Really?
to do with the Packers.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, I'll try to give you some thoughts on that. All right. Be good. Stay good. It was nice to see Bernard again. Oh, even though he says you're all are not Packer fans. Look, Bernard, I didn't say a damn thing about Aaron Rodgers.
I don't understand.
But
we're all Packer fans, Bernard.
We are Packer fans. We're not Rodgers fans.
How am I making you mad, Bernard? I didn't even do nothing.
That was before. That was before in the chat with your. Hey, since Bernard was here, and he loves Aaron Rodgers. I've heard recently from people, Ben, and maybe this could salvage the show a little bit. I've heard recently from people that I know well that the Packers can't win without Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I heard that from Dad just about half an hour ago.
Dad said that same thing to you? What?
Yeah.
Why do people believe that? Why?
I don't know.
I try to tell people like they can win just in a different way. They'll play differently and they can still win.
I told them 33-28. That's how they'll win. 29. 95. 52.
Oh, Rick's
91.
back for a second. What is it, Rick? Ugh. It's Minnesota. We just got a drink. I'm sorry the technology wasn't our friend tonight.
Rick, I'm getting the one eye.
It's been a while since I had issues with StreamYard too, so I don't know if it's that or what's going on, but
the one eye.
Yep. Anyway, I think it's not true that I think the Packers can win without Aaron Rodgers. They just have to run the ball, do play action, play good defense. I think this team this year would have have a good a chance as any to win games and have a successful regular season as any team the Packers will probably have without Aaron Rodgers by playing differently. But they chose to keep him, and there you go. Nope. Rick's back. Rick, you're on. What did you have before?
I was going to ask, how many of these top guys you looked at were hopping all over the line, playing like all 5 positions versus staying in their one natural spot all season?
Mostly just Patrick and, of course, Miners. They tried to make him a center going into the draft, but he's really a guard. He's a guard. I think most of the rest of the guys kind of got to stay, except for Yash a little bit. At least he's been tackle all the time, but he was like swing tackle. I don't know. I'm telling you guys, do a little Packer research. If you're Packers fans, do a little Packer research and go back and watch some of the games. At least you can at least find the extended highlights. Like watch the whole extended highlights against San Francisco and watch Yash work over Nick Bosa. Watch him against some of the other games he was in. Yash is really good. And that's why it was a big mistake for for the Packers not to try to get him in like a 4 or 5 year contract now, because he could have solved, like, if Bakhtiari doesn't come back or can't play again ever, or you already you need another good tackle. Like, you had him right there. He's on your freaking team. Just sign him to a reasonable contract. Now you're either going to have to pay, if he's awesome again this year, you're going to have to pay through the nose to keep him, or you're going to lose him. And then we're back to looking for tackles again, because that's all we ever do is look for tackles. And then they're not good enough to play tackle, and then we stick them at guard for some dumb reason. I don't get it. Anyway, that's more offensive line stuff. Enough. Bye, everybody. Have a great night. Thanks for watching. If you did watch, even if you watched for like 5 seconds, but if you didn't, hopefully you absorbed some offensive line takes here by me, because I'm telling you, I watched a lot of stinking plays, and I don't know, man. These guys are the best, according to me.
Tell me why that unicorn must